We conducted research in both the United States and China among consumers. And the research suggests that we may be, unfortunately, entering an era of managed trade and exiting an era of at least what Americans would think of as free trade. This is obviously a challenge in thinking about this from a business perspective, and I'd be happy to walk through some of the findings. The first challenge that we have here is that the president's rhetoric over the last several years has driven down favorability and trust in Chinese companies in the United States. We also know that U.S. public opinion has shifted somewhat towards now 62% of Americans saying that China is an unfair trader. Now, there is some open questions about whether Americans will actually support in the long run tariffs. And there is a lot of public opinion on American attitudes towards tariffs and price increases. And it should be noted that there's a lot of skepticism towards the potential of price increases and concerns that tariffs will drive price increases. Very much worth noting. Consumers in both China and the United States believe that bilateral trade is advantageous to them, but they still do have a number of concerns. We surveyed both Chinese and U.S. consumers, and while the threat of a potential anti-Chinese product boycott in the United States seems relatively low, our data suggests that the threat of Chinese consumers boycotting products that they feel are American or representative of America is quite high. And that suggests that there is a significant downside risk the longer this trade war continues to American corporations that are selling products in China. When we surveyed American consumers, we noticed that the president's rhetoric has been very effective at driving down both favorability of Chinese companies and trust levels in Chinese companies. The research shows that just in the year since we have been tracking this, the president's rhetoric has driven down favorability in Chinese companies by 6 points and trust in Chinese companies by 12 points. And so his Twitter account and rhetoric have proved effective as political tools. So how does all this play out? Well, it's difficult right now because we just see today that the president has announced a new set of tariff actions, which are challenging. Our research suggests that consumers in both the United States and in China are optimistic that some kind of a trade deal can be reached and walk back from the brink of a trade war. And we'll see just how that plays out in the coming days.